All right, I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend, Kamon Reynolds. Kamon, what do you think about this year's 2025 North American Honeybee Expo?
I guess to put it into as simple words as I can, it just blows me away. And maybe that seems weird to people who like, well, you put the thing on. Wouldn't you expect that? But it's just so massive, and there's so many personalities here. There's so many big companies here, and it's just so spread out. It can take me 30 minutes to get from one side to the other,
Right.
because I meet people like you. I mean, you've been with us for 5 years now, and we chat online occasionally. And of course, you know a lot of my friends, I know a lot of your friends, and so. You want to spend time as much as you can with everybody, and so it can take you 30 minutes to get across this thing
Right.
easily.
Yep.
And so it's just overwhelming in a good way, is how
Sure.
I would describe this year. But it's gone smooth. It's felt good.
I was going to say, you guys seem way more relaxed, less anxiety than in previous years. You guys
I have
seem...
my voice.
Yes. Okay, so back 5 years. So when I first saw you, first met you in Lebanon, Tennessee.
You had a beard.
I did have a beard that year. Did you see this 5 years later?
Absolutely not. Not even close.
Yeah.
And at that point, I still had the mindset that 1,000 would be pushing it as a possibility for a big bee conference.
Sure.
And the problem was, I was listening to several people who just didn't know what they were talking about.
Sure.
And they're like, 1,000 is the ceiling. That's the biggest that we've seen, and that's probably as best as you can do.
Sure.
But we just tried to create something. People are spending a lot of time and money to come to these
Sure.
things. The time is just as valuable or more valuable than the money, and so we don't want to waste people's time.
Sure.
And so that's why every year we're trying to invest more into better offerings, more fun,
Sure.
better deals if we can, all of the things. And so because we've done that, it's attracted more and more people
Right.
to come, and so it's just grown out of control. And I have a wonderful team.
Sure.
And my wife is just crushing it.
Absolutely.
Behind the scenes, she hates cameras. I wish she
Right.
would come up here and do this, because she's wonderfully intelligent and well spoken whenever she wants to make
Sure.
herself heard. But typically, it's just me that she's barking to. So.
Well, that being said, thanks for letting me help and volunteer to help on day one. That was great. I enjoyed it. Putting out all the name tags was amazing to see. All those name tags on all the tables coming down blew my mind too. And that was before even getting to see the vendor part of it. So back to this year, what's your takeaway? What's your favorite thing about this year so far?
Oh man, that's really hard. There's so many cool new products that were out in the trade show this year. I really like a lot of the young companies. They're hungry.
Sure.
I like a lot of the vigor in the young companies and the young beekeepers as well. Our youth program, we really stepped it up with the Next
Amazing.
Gen program. My
For sure.
mom spearheaded that, and my brother Ethan did all of the audio visual on that. And,
Nice.
and in that same room was our workshop.
Okay.
We had our I think that was my favorite addition, was the workshops. We had the microscope class.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm so jealous I didn't get a sit
I
on
didn't
it.
either. I didn't realize there was a pre-sign up, and so I totally missed out on getting to go. I totally was dialed in for that and then didn't get to go. So.
And really, it does. It makes me feel so bad when people can't get to these things, because we really want everyone to be able to take advantage of stuff. It's just logistically not possible. And it's so. I think this is my favorite part. The workshops.
Yes.
The microscope classes. At most conferences that I speak at, we're talking about maybe 150 people. We're talking about maybe a large one, 400,
Sure.
500 people. And there's a lot of benefits to that, because it's more tight-knit and easier to do things.
Sure.
But it's easier also on logistics, where if you have 70, 80 opportunities for a microscope class, you might have a hard time actually filling all the spots.
Sure.
With those, whereas with ours, like Gus Mitchell's class went in 50 minutes.
Right.
And it was a big hit.
Sure.
So thankful that Gus was able to join us again this
Amazing.
year.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Fantastic.
he's rocking the big red beard today. And then, the workshops were great. Now, how do we next year make it to where more people can take advantage of it?
Sure.
We're looking
Logistics.
at logistics. And so we're thinking maybe next year with the microscope class having, you pay the same fees this year.
Sure.
to be able to have the microscope in front of you.
Sure.
But then there's going to be a much smaller fee for those who want to sit in the class.
Yeah.
And just be able to watch stuff. And you don't get a fool with the microscope, but you
Sure.
still get the presentation and get to see what's going on.
Sure.
And it just maybe be like $10 or something like that.
Right.
And we'll probably limit to maybe like 100 people or something, and have 4 sessions, so we could possibly get 400 plus the people on the microscopes.
Right.
And get that education out there. But at the same time, I don't know. We got to figure these things out.
Sure.
The workshops were my favorite. I don't know. There's so many pieces. I can't remember.
That's fair. So next year, I've looked at the calendar, and if we do the Thursday, Friday, Saturday again, it's the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, which means flying in on the 31st. So what are you thinking?
I didn't want to do it this way this year.
Okay.
A lot of people, when we split up from the former conference that we shall not name, we gave it over to them, so we don't fight for it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So, and a few other odds and ends. So as far as the dates for next year, that was a nice start to that. I don't know what we're doing quite yet. I wish it was as simple as, these dates are going to work for everybody and be very simple for our logistics and all that stuff. And we're just going to, these are the dates, this is where we're going to be at and plan right now. And we would love to be able to do that. The problem of it is we're such a new conference and we've used new locations, is it could take years to get an ideal date, especially at a facility like this that is 1.2 million square feet. We fill up a lot of it as far in our minds, but it's still only about maybe 250,000 square feet, including the lobby space. So if we get on certain dates, we're going to have other conferences going in the other rooms. It could be a girls volleyball championship, whatever, and which, hey, that's fine for them, but young girls are loud and excitable, and we don't necessarily want you guys having to fight for parking and all that kind of stuff. And it makes the logistics hard. Let's load in and just, it's busy, and we have to keep them out of here.
Right.
They have to keep our people out of their stuff. So I've kind of always really wanted to keep it simple and easy, and it's difficult to do, but when you start having multiple conferences at the same time, boy, that just adds a big wrinkle.
Right, for sure.
So, and also those dates are challenging. I don't know what our numbers could have been if we were on a week later. I think it's probably affected this conference in the vicinity of at least 300 to 500 people showing up this year.
So to the numbers then, what, I know you probably don't have final numbers yet, but what approximately how many attendees and how many vendors this year?
So vendors, we had about 160, but as far as like vendors staff was about 500 and something. And so that's a lot of people. And then last year I had about 2,680 attendees, and then when you added everybody together, it was about 3,200 people. This year, we have, last count was 29 something, and I don't know all the day of tickets. So I think we're really on the door of 3,000 actual beekeepers showing up, and then with all of everybody else, staff, vendors, easily 3,600, 3,700 people here this year.
That's amazing.
I think that's great. I'm very happy with that and thankful. But I do think there was several hundred people that wanted to come but couldn't because of the dates.
Because of the dates,
And so we obviously would like to be available to those people. So we're going to have to figure it out. There's a lot of nice things about Louisville. There's just some things that aren't as nice. And so, snow. So we're going to have to just do some figuring, and we'll probably start planning here in about 10 to 14 days. I'm going to let Laurel have a break. I'll be ready within about 3. I just need a couple of good naps and
cup of coffee. And not to have the pressure on me of impending doom, which is the Expo. So see, this is where I began to lose my voice, but I made it to the last day. You did.
So we're getting there.
Well done, sir.
I'm also thinking of, I've thought of this for a while, but I really want to execute this year now that I'm finally able to get some help. Chris Medeiros is coming full time here in January.
Which is awesome. That's amazing.
It's, I just can't say thank you enough to people like you who have supported us and got us to this place. So many people have believed in us when we had just a few hundred subscribers and encouraged us, and then told their buddies to join, even not fully knowing what was possible with that support. And this is the result of that. And we're working throughout the year with multiple other organizations to be able to get out of here, Larry. The other Larry. Too many Larrys in one spot. and be able to do more stuff for kids. I want to target the FFA massively
Sure,
this year.
sure.
There's so many missed opportunities in beekeeping, and we can use this large crowd of energy to be able to focus and put resources into areas that we've been missing.
Sure.
And really bring our research, our opportunities, and our economy up. It's all what you either go forwards or you're going backwards. Beekeeping has been too stagnant for too long. The Bee Expo has a responsibility to help make it go forward, and so
Agreed.
we are going to do that. So,
And I think you and Laurel are spearheading that. I think what we're seeing from 5 years ago to this is proof of concept. I mean, really, you're bringing it to the forefront.
well, talk is cheap, Larry. As someone who says a lot of words per minute, it's extremely cheap. Anyone's full of hot air. That's why we work devilishly hard to actually be able to show some stuff. And anyone who's followed us long enough has seen where we've tried to do stuff and we failed with it. It didn't work out. We bit off more than we could chew. But we keep coming back for more, and we try to be as very transparent because we got nothing to hide. And
Right.
we want people to understand that we're just beekeepers like everybody else. We just are fortunate enough to have such a groundswell of friends throughout the industry that help us be able to do these things. And so we owe it to you guys to make things better each year. And it's a there's a saying, Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility, and it's cliche, but it's true.
No, it's true.
When you're given opportunities, more is required of you, and we want to make sure that we're not wasting and squandering all this energy. And so we won't. I'm hoping to have some smaller things in the future that are still valuable. The Bee Expo is fantastic, I think, and getting to see the industry in one place. But we need some smaller stuff too. So I'm hoping to have some smaller events that
Sure.
are maybe around the 300 to 500 mark.
Nice.
And more personal, more Q&A.
Sure.
Just it'll be a totally different structure. It won't be a big trade show.
Sure.
But we can have those workshops like we have that and just really get neck deep into the hardcore stuff.
That's amazing. I love it. Right on. Well, thanks for taking time, Kamon. Thanks for everything you and Laurel have done. Love this year. It's been a blast. Thanks so much.
All right. Thanks for 5 years with you, Larry.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Take care.